Hey, what's up, everybody? Steven here, the Horror Freak 85, finally back live. If some people didn't know, some tornadoes hit here in Tallahassee, and I didn't have Wi Fi or power for a while. So that's why Echo had to do the last show. But yep, I'm back, and Echo will be here in just a minute or two, as well as tonight's guest, Joseph Poliquin. So he's got an upcoming movie, Skate to Hell. We'll be discussing that. He was in Five Nights at Freddy's, the Purge series. So we'll be talking about that. And I believe he's also working on another project that he said he wanted to talk about. So we'll be catching up with what he's been working on. Let's see. Rice Paper Films. Oh, okay. Looks like you were in here a little earlier, but hello. Figured to start up, just get a couple people in here. As I was saying, Echo should be on in just a minute, as well as Joseph. Next week, I guess I'll just announce the next couple guests that we have coming on. Let's see, June 1st, going to have Sarah, I hope I say her last name right, Scopes. She's in a Wild Eye movie called In Furs. Channel X anthology. She worked with what was the movie? Aaliyah. She's in that. She's got a long list, so we'll be talking to her. And then on 8th, we got Lance Weller, who's also in Skate to Hell. We'll be talking about him and what else he's been working on in movies and just the usual stuff we talk about on here. I don't know if Rice Paper Films is still in here, but if not, hello to you too. I see you stopped by earlier. What else is going on? So I don't know if people have heard in Topeka, Kansas, there is going to be a film festival called Slash and Bash. Keith the Critic runs it. And Cheerleader Elimination will be, hello Chadwick, how's it going? So Cheerleader Elimination will be premiering at that film festival. And along with Julianne Prescott and Dylan Fonharvey, I will also be attending as a guest. So that'll be cool. And hello. Thanks for stopping by. So that's September 6th, 7th, and 8th, I believe. Double check, but you can look it up on Facebook. What I say, the Slash and Bash Film Festival. It's in Topeka, Kansas. I don't know who else is going to be there from Cheerleader Elimination, but I'm sure some more people will stop by there. Other guests, I believe Brett Wagner is going to be there. Jen Nangle is going to be there, who she's been on the show before. Who else is going to be there? I think those are the few that have been announced so far, but it's not till September. So more guests should be announced within the next month or two, prior to the event and other films. But it'll be exciting to see the premiere of Cheerleader Elimination. Let me see here. Sorry, 1 second. It's like, but what is it? Beep, technical difficulty. No, there's no technical difficulties. I'm just checking something real quick. How's everyone else doing tonight? Everyone's week been good? Let's see. I don't know if Chadwick's still here or not. Let's see what else has been going on. I've been besides watching the movies and shows with our guests, I've also been catching up on some old reruns of Doctor Who, rewatching it. I'm on the Matt Smith series. Oh yeah, you're doing your film next week. Okay. So, oh yeah, your point of concept. All right, that's cool. Anyone that I know working with you, or is it a new cast? Okay, new cast. All right, that's cool. So they're all first movie that they've been in, or have they done anything else? Okay, with the exception of a couple. All right. Well, I'll definitely be looking forward to it. Uh, what was the title of it again, or is that still under wraps? Still untitled. All right, that's cool. Trying to figure out that perfect title, right? Oh, what you can always do is just pick out the best titles, either put it on the wall, throw darts at it, or put it in a hat and draw it out, whatever works for you. It's like, there's a plot twist for you, just mix it up. Yes, I do come up with great ideas here and there. All right, just checking something here. All right, so I just got a message that Joseph is resetting up there, so he should be on in a minute. And then, of course, Echo should be joining us. Hopefully, he isn't having internet issues. Because I know what was a couple, well, it's been a few weeks now, but when I was on there, he was having internet issues, and then the tornadoes hit and I had internet issues. It's just crazy. It's like I just thought of something sort of ironic. I'm going to Kansas in September. Hopefully, there won't be any tornadoes. There's no place like home, that's for sure. Sharing this out some more. Let's see. Yeah, a couple other people looks like coming in. Welcome. Yeah, there. It's like some Jeopardy theme music going on. Let's see what else has been going on. Just I've been working. Trying to get some more guests for the next couple shows. Slash and Bash coming up in September. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to Spooky Empire, but maybe October. Their tables sold out before I went to get any, though, unfortunately. So probably for the next one, I'll get a vendor's table. If I apparently they all sold out in like a day and a half. I couldn't believe that. I just looked them up and they went pretty quick. So I guess it's pretty big. And then Spookala, they added Howie Mandel because I guess it's the 40th anniversary of Gremlins. So since of course he did Gizmo. Let's see. Oh, all right. And looks like our guest is here.
How's it going?
Hello, hello. Welcome. Oh, I think you muted your microphone. Oh, there you go.
Yes, it did.
Okay, there you go. Yep. So I figured I just start up a few minutes early. I guess Echo should be here. I'm hoping he doesn't have internet issues again. That happened a few weeks ago when I think who was it? Bill Oberst Jr. was on, and he had some issues, and uh, then some tornadoes hit here in Tallahassee a couple weeks ago. I had no power and internet, so it's like, damn, everything's just been craziness. So how you been?
Been pretty good.
Good. Thank you for joining us. Oh, nope. Hold on. Is it? Hear echo. I'm sorry. I just got yours. All right. So yeah, I was watching. Sorry about that. So yeah. Let's see. I guess we can talk about some past stuff that you've done, and I know you said you had a project coming up you'll want to talk about. We can get into.
Sure.
So. But let's do a little bit with you. So where did you grow up, and what got you into acting?
So my name's Joseph Poliquin. I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and a bunch of different things led me to an acting career. One of them was seeing my uncle's photos from his headshots and like his resume when he was trying to be an actor at a really young age. I was like 8 or 9 or something, maybe 10 years old, and I found his headshots, and I went through his headshots, and I was like, wow, my uncle was trying to be an actor, so it made me think, okay, so that's how you do it, and then years later, I ran into a bunch of people who were actors, and one by one, this guy Tyler I knew, he popped up in 21 Jump Street, and I was like, whoa, that's Tyler acting with mother effing Jonah Hill. Fuck. I was like, are we allowed to curse here? Or not?
Oh yeah, you can. It's fine. You can. Yeah, it's no big deal.
Okay, last podcast I was on, I was trying so hard not to curse. I still dropped an S bomb.
Oh fuck that! No, it's a horror podcast. You can say whatever. I mean,
makes sense.
So yeah, it's like it's a horror. If you can't watch horror or listen to it, then you shouldn't be here. So
makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So a friend of yours was in 21 Jump Street, huh?
Yep. I saw him acting with Jonah Hill in a scene, and I was just like, wow, to see Tyler doing that kind of made me think, what am I doing? I should be doing it too. Yeah. And I hit him up and asked him some questions, and I ended up getting on American Horror Story, and I was just doing like background work, just having fun, I was on American Horror Story, and one of those stars of American Horror Story, he told me, he was like, man, he's like, you've been here this whole time with us, and you're doing great. If you get an agent and you start auditioning, he's like, I'm sure you'd be acting just like me. I was like, damn, dude, okay.
It was a Freak Show you were in, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So besides that, any particular actor give you any other advice or anything besides that, or any of them that you're a fan of before being on the show?
I mean, definitely, yeah. The person I'm talking about, yeah, I was a big fan of his, but my mom was a bigger fan. Like he was her favorite actor. But I got to act with my favorite actor early on, and then the lines that I had in the show got cut. So I got to feel the, what do they call it? The rejection of Hollywood. I got to feel that really quick. But I don't know. I don't do it to meet other actors. I'm an actor too, so I don't do it till you're, I met this guy and I acted with this guy and this guy. I feel like some people treat it like they're Pokemon or something. Like, well, on my resume, I have this person, that person. I would like to collect the characters that I get to play, and I would like those characters to always be memorable, and for people to be like, oh man, I remember that movie you played that guy and that happened to you. Okay, cool. Rather than be like, yeah, you were in that movie, but I don't remember your character. Like, because I've had a few films I did where I was in a lot of the film, and then people were like, you were in that? I saw that movie. I didn't see you. And I'm like, okay, so I gotta aim for the acting, the chopping block of acting. You get cut if your scenes aren't that memorable, So I feel like even though people always tell me, it's not about you. You get cut out. It's not your fault. It's just the way of life. I look at it like, but if I did something so incredibly like provoking and thought provoking in acting, they probably wouldn't be able to cut it. Like if I had done such a great job, they wouldn't be able to cut it. So that's what like my aim is for that everything that I do for it to be hard for them to cut anything out that I'm in.
Yeah, I was an extra in Never Back Down. I don't know if you saw that at the Fight Club in
I
Orlando.
do remember that movie. I do remember that movie.
Yeah, my friends and I, we were extras in it, and there was a scene. I forget which fighter it was, but the crowd's booing them, and I thought it'd be funny. I was just like, "Fight back," because it was kind of boring just booing, and I don't know what. Maybe I was just like, "Fight back," and everybody's and what's his name? He was on Wild and Out. He played the DJ.
Nick Cannon.
No, not Nick Cannon. The guy who did Napoleon Dynamite impression and Jay Z. Is it? It
Jay
was like
Sparrow.
DJ something was his name, or I forget. But he heard me. He's like, "Yo, man, fight back!" And so the whole crowd's shouting, "Fight back!" And I'm thinking, "Dang, that's gonna be in the movie." No. And then when I was around the ring, because they kept moving us around and doing different stuff, and Cam Gidget. And his posse, like after the fight, he walked by. I was like right at the ring when they were filming the fight, and he walked by. We're like, "Yeah!" And I'm interacting with him, and I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be an awesome scene in the movie." No, but
Yeah, I can tell
hey,
you.
it was a good experience though, and everything. Had a good time, and got to meet Jeff
Yeah,
Wadlow and all them. And but like you said, I mean, it's saying whoever you worked with, but like acting, it is a good experience, and it's something I also enjoy doing. And lately,
yeah.
I've had excuse me, I've had the opportunity, to work on some horror movies. We talked, but I was I'm a Jackass producer in Camp Blood 9. It's kind of like the show Jackass called Lame Ass, and
Oh
so
well, that's
it's
cool.
fun, yeah. So I'm starting to try to do more and hoping to try to work on my resume, and so but it's
Well, I
fun.
can.
I enjoy it. So, and I've always been a fan of horror. So
Well, that's cool. Cool.
so
I can tell you. One of the things about getting cut out if you're doing an extra part, this just comes from a producer standpoint too, is a good example is I did an extra role in a film and there was someone who was supposed to be a nurse
mhm.
and the camera was on me, so it pulled me from the background to give me like a foreground role. And when she found out that they put the camera on me, she ran across the room and started touching on the wounds, my neck and stuff. And they're like, "Don't touch the wounds. That's not what nurses would do. They wouldn't poke on the wound." And she just was doing anything to get in front of the camera. And they ended up moving her all the way to the back of the room, putting her at the back. And I always learned this, like even back then, whenever I wasn't even auditioning, just walking in off the street, the directors, the writer, the cinematographers, the director of photography, they have an idea for what the scene looks like in their head already. They even have it drawn on their storyboard. So if you want to get into that scene, you have to be one of the things they already have planned in the scene. And a lot of times, if you're one of the main cast or one of the main actors or just on the cast, they'll let you improv, yeah. But if you're one of the extras, they don't want you improving. They want you to do exactly what they had planned. So if you do things differently, it might be awesome. It might be so awesome, and it might be something that in our minds like they should have kept, but the producers and directors will sit there and purposefully be like, "I didn't plan that," and cut it out on purpose. Because I've seen a lot of like stuff, like when we did American Horror Story, we did many shots where the director Michael, he was awesome, and he would add me into the shot. But because the producers and people haven't had that shot in their mind, they weren't worried about getting into the final cut. And they, believe it or not, they spend so much time, effort, and money on these things that they know exactly what it's going to look like before they even film it. They know exactly what lenses they're using, what the width of the camera's going to be like, and if they come to points in their filming night or day that wasn't like they had planned or in their shot list, it'll make people panic. so, so anyone listening right now, if you do want to end up acting, you gotta make sure that people that you work with, it's almost like you go into it, if you're being an extra, the less you get seen, the more chances you have of landing acting roles, because the more you get seen as an extra in a film. Like if you're doing a TV show and you get seen as an extra, they can't bring you on that TV show. They can't audition you for it. They can't bring you in on it because they saw you in it. And the people that make the shows are so sticklers. Every show, every movie I've ever done, they're all sticklers about always making sure that the audience and the fans don't watch. and go, "Oh, this isn't real. I saw that guy already over here," right? But
Yeah.
then, spoiler alert: if you watch the finale to the Young Sheldon series,
Yeah.
the dad is in two places at once, and so like I'm not gonna say why. I don't want to give it away, but he did that just to be there for the last shots, the film or the filming, and it goes to show it's like the audience doesn't always see every single extra in the background. They don't. They really don't. But for some reason, the people who book the extras and book the cast and do the production design, a lot of them are OCD, man. They're very OCD. So they're like, you might audition for a role, and they'll be like, man, he's perfect for the role. And they're like, oh, yeah, but 8 episodes ago, he was the guy carrying the computer. Really? Yeah. How do you think anybody will remember that? I highly doubt anybody saw the guy carrying the computer through the background. Yeah, but you know what? We don't want to risk it. Risk what? Like, you're not risking anything, but they're like that, man. They really are. So it's weird because most of the acting career isn't really about the acting. It's about reading minds. They don't tell you crap and they expect you just to know what they want. So people are like, you'll get an audition and the person giving you the audition is like, okay, this might be different than how I usually do auditions, but this is what the director asked me. And then the director asking you it is like, that's not even how I do direct or auditions, but my producers are making me ask for these things. So they don't even know what to look forward to. And then they get 3,000 actors sending in an audition and they have to watch every single video over like a 2 week span, and then so it's the whole process of getting a part is all about putting the right energy out there to where even when they watch every single audition, there's something about your audition that sticks out. And so if it sticks out, that's great. But if you stick out as an extra, then you can't stick out in an audition because they'll always see it and be like, "Hey, isn't that guy? That's the guy from that commercial, right? That just like takes a bite of that chicken leg and you don't see him again." I had a Church's Chicken audition, or not audition, a commercial I did. We were out there freezing, had a speaking role in it. They did a joke that had to do with Five Nights at Freddy's because everyone on set was like, "Oh yeah, we love Five Nights." So it was like really good. It was an awesome shoot. And then when the commercial came out, they cut me down to just like there I am for a second. You see me take a bite of the chicken leg. I'm like, that's some acting for sure. So if you're wanting to get into the acting career, you got to be ready to not be in the spotlight. I think that's the truth too. Is that the less that you care about your own fame or your own spotlight, and the more like so if you show up as an extra, you're like, oh, it's not about me. It's about you guys. You guys are the stars. You guys are the directors, producers. I'm just here to be a blur in the background because that's what you hired me for. Then they'll like you a whole lot, and the people on set will remember you. So those people on set, they go to get bigger jobs, and I've had people come to me and be like, "Man, did you know that you were gonna be Bonnie out of Bonnie and Clyde in the new Highwaymen with Woody Harrelson?" I was like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, dude, it was gonna be you." I'm like, I would have never known if it wasn't for some of those PAs getting bigger and better jobs and becoming like assistant directors and stuff. But then they could let me in on like special things I didn't know about behind the scenes. So it's like those things happen, and it keeps freezing and lagging on my end. Todd, tell
Yeah,
me.
that was Echo. He was saying to me,
Oh,
like
what's
he
up?
was on there, like I guess you saw his box and he dropped off. But let's see, and Todd's here too. Hey, Todd.
Has everyone been having like horrible internet issues recently?
Apparently, I guess I don't know what the deal is.
Yikes, man. I hope I don't know. I don't get too controversial or too political, but I really hope that people think about how fragile and just like what's the word flaccid the internet is. I guess like it's or phallic. The internet is just it's doomed if people don't use it a different way. I think we had dial up. We went from dial up to being directly connected. There needs to be like a third version of the internet where you're directly connected when you want to be, but
Mm-hmm.
you can't get hacked whenever you don't want to be on the internet. You can't, you're not using your data when you don't want your phone on, or there's just different ways to save bandwidth. Because I'm using Mint Mobile because of course I love Ryan Reynolds and he knows how to sell that company. So I got Mint Mobile and it's way less expensive. I will give him that, but it's definitely slower than the other internets.
Yeah.
Hello from us in Canada. Hello, what's up?
Yeah, we got Canada. Nice. Yeah, sometimes I've had people before, even from the UK and some other places, come on. So it's interesting who's able to watch us. So thanks for stopping by, of course.
And you might get a few people from Brazil in here. I don't. Let me see. I'll share the link again. Let me just share it and see what it says.
Echo wants to know what's like working with Tommy in a Big Shark.
Oh, that's a great question. Tommy Wiseau. I did that movie just because I was already a fan of his work. Um, he's a great entertainer, and what he writes is always something crazy, you know. But he's only done one feature film, right? And everyone's been waiting for another feature film from him for so long, like 20 years or so, for him to direct another one. And so when I heard this one was going to be filmed in New Orleans, I told everyone, I was like, I gotta get an audition on this. I was like, I gotta. Somehow my agent is amazing. She got it done. She got an audition for it. Um, but it was the weirdest. Can you guys still see me?
No, the camera went out. I guess when you go
Oh
to like
dang.
share the link or whatever, the camera went off. But
Let me
we can
see.
hear you fine though.
But yeah, so I got the audition, and they're like, "You're gonna be doing the audition in New Orleans." I'm like, "Okay." We put the address in, and it's like in the middle of the street, just in the middle of the street. And I didn't. I was like, I don't. Are we just supposed to do it right here? Like we're not gonna go inside anywhere? And he's like, No, no, no. We do it here. This is real acting. I meet Tommy. The first time I meet him, he's like, This is real acting. You could if you could do it here, you could do it anywhere. And I look over at my friend. I'm like, He's not lying. He's not lying. I guess he's right. If you can audition for sorry, I got a hiccup. If you can audition for a movie in the middle of the street in fucking New Orleans, I guess you could do it anywhere. So I'm sitting here with Tommy Wiseau, and I'm like, "There's a shark coming! Oh my god!" Ah! And grabbing onto this light pole and screaming, and then fucking fans just surround him in the middle of doing my audition. They're like, "Tommy Wiseau, can we have autographs?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, sure." And I'm like, "He's not even fucking watching." I was like, he's signing autographs. So I stopped, and while he's signing autographs, he looks over and he goes, "Why you stop?" I'm like, you're not watching, man. And he's like, but the camera's watching. I'll watch later. I'm like, fuck. I was like, are you serious? And I was like, dude, this fucking dude's exactly like I thought he'd be, but I'm honored just to do the audition. So I honestly didn't even give a fuck if I got the part, because I was like, if I get the part, that's a 1 in a million like lifetime opportunity to be acting in a Tommy Wiseau movie. Holy shit, you know. Out of every movie I've ever done in my entire life, I think that one might be the most special for anyone who's a fan of his work, you know. So weeks and weeks and weeks went by, and I didn't hear anything. And I was like, okay, I guess I didn't get the part. And then the producer hit me up, and he goes, "Tommy wants you for the movie, dude." And I'm like, okay. Why does it sound like there's a catch? He's like, "Oh no, we just don't know when we're gonna start, but we're working on fabricating the big shark fin." And I was like, okay. So he had me, my stepson, and my wife out there at freaking like all weekend building these shark fins out out of fucking wire. So I didn't just act in the movie. I helped make the fucking shark. I helped build the shark fins and shit. And then I go home and I don't hear anything for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm like, dude, they had us doing the shark fins. I really do hope I get this part. I was like, I think I've done more for this part than I've ever done for any other part. And then I get a call back, and the producer's like, "Yeah, dude, Tommy wants you for the part." I was like, "Yes, that's awesome! I got the part." Went down there in New
Building the
Orleans.
shark was worth it.
Oh yeah, that was worth it too. But I had like, dude, you should have seen I had like 8 cuts on my hands, like band-aids everywhere. But there's pictures somewhere, I'm sure. It was like, it was so fun. But so I get to set, and the dialogue is like classic Tommy written, you know, crazy, hard to, you know, it's hard to get into his mind until you see the finished product. So it's classic. And I'm reading these lines, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I go to jump in the car, and the car door's locked, and I don't know what to do. I'm like, and he goes, get in. And I'm like, so I just jump through the window, and I'm hanging out the window with my legs hanging out, and they pull off down the street with me just fucking flailing out the window. I hope that made the film. I hadn't got to see it yet, but the people who got to go to festivals and see it, they've been hitting me up and being like, "God, your part's so funny, dude." So I'm in the back seat and I grab the shotgun and I go to shoot the shark. And Tommy was having problems remembering one of his lines. One of his lines said something about agitating the shark. And so he goes, "I don't want to say this line anymore. You say it." So I was like, "Wait, what?" So he just gave me one of his lines, like on the spot. And I was like, "Okay, well, what do you want?" He goes, "Just say the word agitated." And I was like, "What? Just, just say the word." I was like, just go agitated. He wanted to do that. I was like, "What do you want me to do?" I was like, "What do I do?" He goes, "No, just say the word. Like somehow, put it in your line somehow." I was like, "What if I'm like, I shoot the shark and I'm like, oh no, I think I just agitated it." He's like, "That works, that works, that works." Okay, cool. But he didn't tell the other guy in the scene with us, Isaiah. He didn't tell him, the producer and star of the movie with him. He didn't tell him that he's doing this. So we're driving on the street and I'm bam, I shoot the shark and I'm like, "Oh no, I think I agitated it." And he slams on his brakes and he's like, he's like, "Wait, he's like, cut." And Tommy's like, "What are you doing? Go, go, go." And he's like, "Wait, he said your line." He goes, "Yeah, I told him to." And he's like, "Tommy, you can't just be giving people your fucking lines and not telling me, man. I don't know." He's like, "Go, there's a shark." He like never broke his character. He's like, "There's a shark, go." And dude, they pull out and I'm like, and the camera was on like my side at the time. And I'm like, or it's on one of our sides where you can see me. So when they peeled out, I like peeled and like made it look like my head like hit and like turned because I couldn't stop laughing. So I was like, I like bent down, was laughing. It was probably the funniest time I ever had on set, definitely.
That Big Shark, it's just at festivals right now, or is it released?
He released it in a couple of film theater, a couple of theaters, in a couple of film festivals, but it's in a couple of theaters right now. I don't know if he's just trying to like get it eligible for an Oscar, and it be like the first movie that wins an Oscar that nobody's even seen. Like I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea. He's so wild. If you've ever seen any of the Disaster Artist or any of the movies, like he made Greg shave when he was supposed to be on Malcolm in the Middle, right? And he was like, "You either pick this movie or Malcolm or Middle Malcolm or Little Malcolm." He said, "You either pick this movie or Little Malcolm." Well, I had
Let's see.
that. Yes, this is live right now.
Yep.
What's
Hey,
up, Unspoken
Unspoken.
Notion? I had the audition, but I had another audition at the same time, right? And I wasn't supposed to shave for it. I think it was Five Nights at Freddy's, and I wasn't supposed to shave for it. And I was like, "But I got this really big audition I have to do, and I'm not supposed to shave." And he's like, "But I need you to shave for this." It was just so fucking funny, man. God, that was hilarious.
Let's see. What's up, Joseph? Tickle Me Not in the
Yep,
house.
that's my board sponsor, Tickle Me Not. They're awesome. Boards are awesome.
Oh man. And let's see, we got Chadwick. He stopped by, but he's getting ready to film proof of concept movie himself. He did a movie called Malcolm that's on Tubi about serial killers. So,
well, ironic. Yeah. We're talking about Malcolm in the Middle.
And it's called Malcolm. Yeah,
you should name it Little Malcolm.
They should do a horror version of Malcolm in the Middle.
They should do a horror version of The Room. That'd be great. Like a if they did The Room and made it like serious, it'd be nuts. I don't know how it's too perfect. That movie's so perfect.
Yeah. Let's see. Unspoken was just saying "Skate to Hell," so I guess we can talk a little bit about that since he's bringing it up here. So yeah, I know. Let's see. So Sean C. Phillips wrote and directed that. How did you get involved with him?
First off, Sean's a legend. I don't even know. Someone sent me or tagged me, or I think they messaged it to me. I think two people did it, but they got the poster in front of me, and then I went to the page, saw the poster. I didn't see his Kickstarter or any of that. I just saw the poster and saw we're crewing up and we're looking for people for this movie, and it blew my mind. I was like, they're making a movie. It's called Skate to Hell, and there's a guy, and he's got a skateboard, and he's basically skating through hell, I guess. I don't know. So I went and looked it up, and I saw the beginning of the Kickstarter. No, I actually had talked to him first, and I said, Hi, I saw your post. I really have never wanted to be in a movie more because I'm a skateboarder, man. Like it's a dream to be an actor who gets to skateboard in a movie. So I was like, I have never wanted to be in a movie more. And here's my skateboarding demo reel, and here's my acting demo reel. And he comes back and he's like, "Did you see our Kickstarter?" I was like, "No, let me go check it out." And I saw the story in the Kickstarter, and it was like the the devil's son has a skateboard and these kids steal the skateboard and stuff, and it was or the teens steal the skateboard. So I was like, oh, I'm a little old to be a teen. I thought, even though they still had me as a teen in Five Nights at Freddy's, I guess, or 18-year-old, so something like that. So I was like, oh man, I guess I'm a little old to be a teen. But I was like, if you have any roles at all, and he's like, you look just like the guy on the cover. We have the same curly hair and everything. It looked like me on the cover that they had painted before they even knew me. So I was like, you're right, it really does, and I really want to. He's like, would you want the lead role? I was like, count me in. He's like, all right, here you go, boom. So within like 20 to 30 minutes of seeing that poster for the first time, I was signing the contract to be the lead actor in the movie, and I just blew me away. I was like, dude, this is so awesome. This is so sick.
The
And
painting
like,
predicted it.
yeah, it really did. It really did.
Let's see. Unspoken saying, tell him who you met on set, the dude and his daughter. Laugh out loud if you
Yeah,
can.
that was like one of the craziest things that happened. Sebastian Bach crashed our set. Sebastian Bach and his daughter. And what's even crazier is that Nicole walks up to me, the producer. She walks and co-star Iman. She walks up and she's like, "Hey, you know who this is, right?" I was like, "Huh? What are you doing on our set?" I was like, "Well, holy shit!" And then out of nowhere, Nicole walks around him with a girl and goes, "Hey, this young girl wants to take a picture of you." So I was like, "All right, take a picture." And then they walked off, but she walked over to him. And she stood next to him. I was like, wait, what is she doing over there with Sebastian Bach? And they're like, that's Sebastian Bach's daughter. I was like, Sebastian Bach's daughter's a fan of FNAF and wanted a picture with me? I was like, what what kind of world am I living in right now? I was like, that's nuts. That's so crazy.
That's crazy. He years ago he played Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar on tour, and I went to see him
Oh, that's
play
epic.
Jesus Christ Superstar. I saw him and Carl Anderson, who was the original Judas. And after the show, like you know how sometimes stage plays they'll come out the back door, maybe stay after, do a Q&A or whatever.
Yeah.
And it happened that when my mom and I went, she's actually in the chat and she was saying good advice earlier about the acting.
Hey,
But we
Steven's mom.
decided to. Yeah, Peggy's in here. So, um, and so we decided to stay. There was a bunch of school kids, so they like we moved up, and they came out and was talking, answering questions, and I was wearing the Spider-Man shirt, and Sebastian Bach saw me. He's like, "Dude, cool Spider-Man shirt." When he signed the play, he's like, "Awesome Spider-Man shirt."
That's dope. He's a cool guy, man. He's so cool.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. So it was cool to see him as Jesus. Like, yeah, I can't remember. I don't know if they had. I mean, I hate to say it's nothing bad. Like, he's a cool guy, but I think they kicked him off the tour or something. I think I don't know, but I guess his Jesus was rocking too much. I guess I don't know, but
I feel bad. I know what it is, and I've seen it on VHS one time, but I've never seen it live, and I really can't tell if it's like a satire comedy or if it's actually like people like spreading the word. I don't know what it is.
So, oh, you mean the show itself?
Yeah, like I have
Yeah.
no idea.
I mean, let's see. Oh, my mom. I was like, yeah, a little slow on typing there. So it was Jesus Christ Superstar. Probably the message got delayed, but yeah. So that's what we're talking about.
That reminds me of that character from Steven Universe that's psychic but can only tell what already happened.
Oh.
Like my favorite character on that entire show. Like
It's psychic, but it already happened.
yeah, like the whole wall explodes. And it's like the dust clears and the fight ends, and then the character's like, "Be careful, the wall's gonna explode." Way after it happened.
Or what was it? Surf. Did you ever see Surf Ninjas with Ernie Reyes Jr. and Senior and Rob
Oh wait,
Snyder?
I think so. It's got the guy that played Shao Kahn, Shao Kang or Shao.
Well,
Kahn.
it's Ernie Reyes Jr. and Senior. He was in Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze and everything, and Rob Snyder was in it.
Rob
And
Schneider.
there's
What?
yeah, and like the one kid could see the future in his video game, and he was like supposed to be this. His brother was a fighter, and
Oh, that's cool.
and Rob Snyder, who played their friend, I forget his character's name, but they were saying how they all have powers, and the house when they broke in and everything, they left the gas on. It was going to explode, and they escaped outside. And he goes, you know, he's like, was the gas on? What if the house explodes? Bam! The house explodes right when he says that. And he goes, oh my God, I have a power too. Every time I say, what if, it happens. What if I lose this power? Oh my God, I just said, what if I lose this power? I had it and I lost it. uh, yeah. Anyway. Well, any random funny movies that you can think of that maybe inspired you also, or that you just like and maybe want to be in a movie like that?
Anything from Jim Carrey.
Oh,
And every time I hear Jim Carrey say that he is retiring, it makes me sad because I'm like, nah, man. I feel like there's some way, like he's perfect for Robotnik, right? He's just perfect.
Oh,
for
I know.
Dr. Robotnik. So it's like there's some way where someone out there could write a movie that me and him could star in. You know, he's not the kind of actor I would like see. You know, I don't know. Maybe you could come up with a Jim Carrey father son type movie, but like I mean, what would it be? Like Dumb and Dumber? Oh, I have a kid. That was like the closest thing to it, you know.
Yeah,
Like
they
the
did.
Dumb and Dumber too.
Yeah, they did a Ace Ventura where it was like his kid, but it wasn't really that good.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, see the movies where they go, oh, let's take the star who's older and let's give him a young actor as a son. And like, let's put them together. Let's do that. That's what they did with RV, with Robin Williams. But Robin Williams is hilarious, but he's also got that dad quality, you know.
yeah.
And I mean, like, I don't know if Jim Carrey's a dad in real life or not. I don't remember, but on camera he's got that like the fun, goofy quality. So like, I mean, he did serious roles. So maybe he could play a dad. You know, maybe he can. Maybe no one's giving him the chance. We just haven't seen that side of him. I don't know.
Well,
But
just like
I
Robin
dream of
Williams,
hope.
who did a 1 hour photo, and what was the other movie? Like those dramatic movies, like that's crazy. Like he's so talented, he can either do comedy or thriller, or I mean, pretty
Yeah.
much anything. Let's see. Unspoken's got a question. Out of all the films you've been in, which one was your favorite?
Of all the films I've been in, which one's my favorite? That is a loaded question. Because like I don't know. Earlier I was saying like I don't do films just so I can be like, well, I acted with these actors, I acted with that actor. And now I feel like I'm contradicting myself, saying like, oh, I really want to act with Jim Carrey. He's an exception, you know.
Who
But
wouldn't
out
want
of
to
all
act
the
with him?
films that I did, which one's my favorite? It's so hard to pick, to be honest. That would have to be my answer. It's very hard to pick. I haven't done a film, like, I haven't done just one film that gives me the ability to bring out every single thing that I could possibly do in acting. You know, I don't think it's possible to do that. So, like, one film, I might have had so much fun being, you know, the goofy, funny character. Another film, I might have gotten to do my own stunts, and that was a lot of fun. Like, honestly, Skate to Hell was definitely top three experiences I've ever had, if not the top experience I've ever had on a set. Not because it was like the biggest movie, but because what I got to do as an actor, I got to do my own stunts. I got to ask the crew and the producers like, "Hey, are you guys okay with me getting an apple box and flying through the air on my skateboard and falling in the ground and rolling on the ground?" And then I can't tell you how many times on Skate to Hell they stopped, they called cut in the middle of a take, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "We cut. Are you okay? Are you hurt?" I'm like, "I did it on purpose. Keep going." I'm like, "Don't stop." I was like, just don't. If I'm not bleeding or if I'm responsive, just keep going." Because like, there's gonna be some stuff in Skate to Hell that I really hope brings out the acting that Chris Kattan used to do or Jim Carrey still does. You know, there's not many actors that go to that level of like craziness, and I wanted to bring that.
Mhm.
So there's moments where, you know, because I think a lot of people don't even know that, but when you're on set, like, you couldn't. I'm not tooting my own horn. Okay, I think I'm a decent actor, but I'm positive that if you came to me in the 90s, if I was this age in the 90s and you came to me and you said, I have a movie idea for you, and I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do it. I want you to be the lead. You got it. I'm going to do it. All right, we're going to pay you this amount of money. That doesn't even matter. I'm the lead. It's a comedy. Let's do it. What's it about? You're going to be a pet detective. I would have been like,
Oh, I do that.
right. I would,
Yeah.
but if they came to me and did that, I would have been like, how are we going to make this funny? How is that? That seems like a child's movie. That seems so corny. Like, it just seems like the worst idea. A pet detective. Like, this is definitely a Hallmark movie that's barely gonna get seen, right? But no, Jim Carrey went, all right, let's do it. And he freaking, he did it his own way. Everything he did was his own goofy character that made it's like the whole movie could have been anything. It could have been Jim Carrey doing anything, and it would have been funny. And I think they realized that because of the way he did the Cable Guy. The Cable Guy was supposed to be creepy. It was supposed to be just
With his
straight up
lift
creepy.
and everything.
And you
Yeah.
could tell it was supposed to be creepy because of the way that freaking Matthew Broderick or Jack Black did it, right? You could tell the way it's supposed to be creepy. Every scene is creepy. The way they make Jim Carrey seem, they're like, he's not who he says he is. He's a stalker. It was so creepy. But like Jim Carrey walking down the hall and like all the shit that he does is just like why it was so good, the energy. So you could take any actor in the fucking world and put them in those roles, and it wouldn't be the same. The movie would just be another movie with people talking and looking at each other, you know. But you
Yep.
put him in it, and it's like what the like it's wild. Like in The Mask when he's bouncing down the hall, blowing like holes in the walls and everything, and then the next day he's like himself and he's sober. He's not the mask anymore. But the cop's like, yeah, this shotgun went off, and the woman said he bounced in the hall, and he like when just like the look on his face whenever he like closes the door and realizes it wasn't a dream. It's like he's like, like it's just these little reactions, stuff like that that I think is like really hard to come by.
Hmm.
And you might get material that's hilarious or well written and just fun, but you don't get the opportunity to go there because the character is just not the same or the movie's not absurd, you know. So maybe he knew in a sense. I don't know how they made Pet Detective. Maybe he had something to do with it, but maybe he just knew if we do something absurd that makes no sense, that's just I'm a pet detective, right? We can make it so much funnier because no one has to take it so seriously because we're not in this real realm. You know, we're not in. It's not like if you did Knocked Up. None of the people could really do Jim Carrey type acting because it was too real. Like it's in this realm of realism. You know, but Jim Carrey's in a realm of like, am I? I'm almost. It's almost like you're in a cartoon, like a live action cartoon.
Yeah.
So when you think of that, that's what Skate to Hell did. That's what Skate to Hell let me do, and I felt so honored and lucky that Skate to Hell let me do that because it was like there were moments where this guy just got back from hell, you know, like so they expect you to like, just walk across, you know, like you just got back from hell and you're walking across, and it's not written any different way. It's like he's got back from hell and he's walking, right? And I feel like I could talk about the scene because it's not a spoiler or anything. So it's like okay, and action, and any actor in the world could just walk across like they asked, right? But I was sitting there in my head about it, and I'm like, or I could do it like you know, what Chris Kattan do? You know what I mean? Like he's terrified. He just got back from hell. He's seen some stuff down there, and like he can't just be walking a normal walk. He's got to walk a walk like he just got back from hell. So
Yeah.
I just like they're like action, and I go into it. And I'm like like just like freaked out, and I walk across, and they're like cut. And Guthrie, the boom and sound engineer, he's cracking up laughing so hard because he's got my mic and the boom mic, so he's hearing it loud and clear. Everything that I'm doing is like in his head, in his ears. So when I'm like on set bringing that energy or being wild or goofy or stupid, he's the first one to crack up and be like, "Oh, sorry, I tried not to laugh." He's like, and I loved it, man. It was a great experience. So I can't tell you which one was my favorite, but as being Skate to Hell was my most recent, exploration on a movie set, it was definitely fun. It was definitely a blast.
Todd was saying that it looked like you and Elizabeth and Riley really had great chemistry quickly while filming Skate to Hell.
I felt like that too. I felt like these are some really cool people that are actors that I've never met in my life, but they also didn't phone it in. Like Riley could have just been like, oh, it's a goofy movie, and I did a few movies back in the day, or I'll say like one or two that like I wish I could have been the lead cast on because the movie had like the opportunity to be great movies, but the lead cast phoned it in a little bit, and like one of them didn't even come out yet. I don't know if it's gonna come out at all, and like I don't think it will. It's been years and years and years. But it's just like so I've seen people phone stuff in whenever it's something like a Pet Detective, right? Like if someone said Pet Detective, I feel like nowadays a lot of times people nowadays just are, oh, I'm too cool to do that kind of acting. I want to be serious, or I want to do this. And this movie has that seriousness, but it also has comedy in it too. And I wondered if they would be able to do that. I wondered, like I know that I've practiced I know that I've rehearsed. I know that I want to give it my all. But here I am, all the way across the world, nowhere near the other actors that are in the movie with me. And I'm just like, I'm so nervous. I'm like, dude, I just booked the lead role in this movie. That's awesome. But I hope everyone does a great job. It's like, cause I mean, I hope I do a great job too. But like, I hope we all do a great job. Like, it was so crazy. I've never had that feeling. Like, I've been in movies where I bounce in, I do my part, I do a good job, I get out, and then I'm like, oh, I'll take that demo reel, put it in my reel, and I go and do the next film. But I've never had a movie where it's like this movie falls on my shoulders. Like this movie falls on my head, man. If this movie like at least doesn't entertain, or if people like don't have fun watching it, then they'll be like, oh man, I don't know about this dude's acting. So I was like, okay, at the end of the day, I haven't met any of the people yet. I haven't gone out to Vegas yet. I'm getting ready for the travel. I'm like, I'm gonna do this so hard, and I'm gonna have so much energy, regardless of anything. That way, as long as whenever the camera's on me, people are laughing, and then you know what? We'll figure it out from there. But then when I got to set and got to meet everyone, and everyone, even the people who were like having one liners or walk on roles, they all brought such good energy. They all brought such amazing energy that like every scene I was watching, the dailies I was watching, everything. Like the I would watch people come in to do a part that some of the actors were telling me, yeah, I don't get this part because it doesn't feed the scene or whatever. But the rest of the actors could see the energy, grab it, pick it up, and make a joke or make something a punchline or something, and boom, it's like the whole scene made sense again. It was so much fun. And getting to work with some of the people on there that I'd been fans of since I was a kid. Like so many people on this film that I'd been such a big fan of since I was a kid, and now we're all working together on this movie that you know I hope the whole world loves it. But no matter what, I love it, and I know for the rest of my life it's gonna be like a photo like a photo bucket of all of our favorite moments. Like we're gonna be able to look back at this movie and be like, yeah, we did this and this happened. We went into the desert and like they cut like the internet was cut off for everyone, so everyone out there in the desert, no one could talk to anybody outside of the set. We couldn't call anybody. We couldn't. If anyone's leg fell off, you were screwed. If the people there were telling you like, don't get bit by snakes, don't get any cactus. If you do, you might not live. They were like, there's no hospital around here. You will not make it. They were like, there's
Just because
snakes
it's called Skate to Hell, I don't want to really go there now.
Yeah, exactly. And then another thing that happens, like the tunnel to hell, you'll see that part, but like the tunnel that gets us to hell is so epic. I've never seen something like that in real life. Like it goes for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles, and like the crew walk down the tunnel for a long time, and then we turn this left corner, and then there's like a 800 feet, 800-foot drop from like where I'm at to the ground. It's like an 800-foot drop inside of a cave. So that was one of the coolest sets I think I've ever been on, definitely.
Nice. Um, so you were saying who else was in it that you said that you grew up watching them? Who was it that you got to work with?
Oh, there's so many people I worked with, and like it's one of those movies where it's very hard to name the entire cast because there are so many people. It's ridiculous. Like it does feel kind of crazy because I mean I don't know. I'm honored. I'm so happy that they chose me to lead a movie at all. But then whenever when it's said and done, we're finished filming it, and I'm like, we traveled back across the country. We're back at home. I'm back here. I'm sitting down. I'm staring at the wall, thinking about what we just witnessed for the past 2 weeks, and I'm like, that really happened. I was like, we just did a movie, and there were like 20 to 30 legendary actors that I grew up watching, and I think it's pretty funny. I think it's a funny movie. I think a lot of people have been just watching the trailer, the teaser trailer, and going, "This looks like it looks like a cult classic." And then, I've shared it with some people too that like I didn't ever think that they would like respond. I just was like, "Man, I'm gonna share it, see what they said," you know. And some of the biggest names in filmmaking, arguably,
I'm not sure who this is. Someone, I guess, got an invite here or something, or I don't know what is.
Ain't no way.
What's up? I think they figured out how to hack into your live, maybe.
Unless I shared the wrong one, or maybe you did. I don't know.
I thought I shared your YouTube video.
I don't know. But I guess hello. I guess.
Hi, what's
What's
up?
your name?
Hello. Oh man, my name is Gracie. I'm a huge fan of Five Nights at Freddy's and have been for 9 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Uh, yeah,
Epic. That's pretty cool.
yes,
What's your
yeah.
favorite Five Nights game?
I really like Security Breach. I just got it on my Switch. My Switch broke, so
Oh man.
I'm waiting for it to get it fixed. Yeah.
Well, I hope you get your Switch broken. I mean, I hope you get your Switch fixed and it's not broken anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't mind bringing people up. That's actually interesting. You know, maybe sometime I could just like do this in the future too for a few minutes or
Yeah,
whatever.
might be cool.
So you're the
Yeah.
first person to say hello to a guest, so welcome. So,
What's up?
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
any other questions before I let you go, or
No, not that I know of.
all right,
Think of some for next time. Later.
all right.
Well,
Yeah, so thanks for joining and enjoy the rest of the show. And I hope you give me a follow, and I'll be having some more guests come on, and maybe I'll do this again some more. So, all right, have a good
okay.
night.
That was cool.
Interesting. I don't know how they got it, but that's all good though.
That was pretty cool.
Uh,
Well, now I gotta go. Can you go check and see if I accidentally shared the wrong link on my story? Now?
you might have.
I wonder if I did.
That's all right though.
My dog wanted to say hello.
That's all right. We got
He's been here the
pets
whole
that come
time.
up every now and then.
Five Nights is a legendary game series. I know, man. It's still hard to believe that I'm in that thing. It just really is, to be honest. Like a lot of times, I'll get excited about news I hear about them dropping like U2's action figures or like the new, because we have kids, right? So our kids liked the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise before I was in it, and now here I am an adult. I had no kind of like plushies or like any of those action figures or anything, and now everyone's sending me plushies. If I go to a convention, I'm gonna get 2 or 3 handmade plushies from fans, and I'm gonna keep those for the rest of my life. So I think I'm just gonna be having toys and action figures now because of this movie for the rest of my life, just like following me around. But like we've had fans make stuff. Like I can show you this right here. How do you flip your camera? Is there a way to do that?
I don't know if you can or not. Steven's here. He said he hasn't played the game, but it's an amazing film. He saw Matthew and some people cosplayed as Freddy at Texas Frightmare Weekend.
Okay, I can't flip the camera, but I can just flip the phone, bring it over here. But yeah, so a really awesome fan named Will, made these custom Funko Pops. One of them's got a magnetic cupcake that goes on my face, and it's like that kind of stuff. Like that doesn't happen. I've done a lot of films, and that doesn't happen much. We have people who have approached us about Skate to Hell, and they've been like, "Oh, I want to make action figures for Skate to Hell. I want to make, I want to do this, I want to do that," which is really cool. But this company puts out their own action figures and stuff, So here recently, I saw an article, and it was like 5 new action figures coming from the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and it's like they all look so cool, and it's like a whole thing of them, and I'm like, man, that's awesome. And then it hit me. I was like, wait, that's the movie I'm in. That's like they made action figures for a movie I'm in. That's so cool. And then someone like sent me another news article, and they're like, oh, they're making 5 more figures in September. So they have a whole nother line of more characters coming out, and everybody keeps tagging me in them, and they're like, "Oh man, we really want to see you and Hank and Kat and Jeff from the movie," and we want to too, but we have no say in that. So this whole thing's been like a roller coaster. We don't know anything. What's up, Asawa? They don't tell us anything. We don't hear anything. So whenever I get news, it's like Christmas every time I hear something crazy. Like they have a new DVD cover for Five Nights at Freddy's. It just came out at Walmart, and which is, that to me is bonkers. That means that if you got the original Five Nights at Freddy's cover with like the whole crew on the front, you have a very rare copy because it sold out and we couldn't find it at any Walmart. There's a few copies left at GameStop. Couldn't find it at any Walmart, and then now Walmart re-released it, and the only thing on the front is just the cupcake now. So that's a new cover. So they're like releasing like collectible covers to DVDs, which I think is that's very smart in my opinion, because people don't want to like buy a DVD more than once if the cover's not going to change, you know. But that's it's pretty
Yeah.
smart. People want to collect that. That's genius, actually. It's gonna we already say we, but Five Nights was already the number one selling DVD this year, and in the past 5 years, I think. Like if you look at like the top selling DVD of the month, it'll be Oppenheimer probably. But if it's from January 1st, 2024, it's Five Nights.
Yeah. Of course, like physical collectors of movies and stuff, they love special editions and different covers, and so.
Yeah,
So, how about you? I guess, are you a physical media collector? A lot of people,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. I don't like the digital stuff. I don't mean to say like, oh, I was born before digital age and I miss it. Oh, boo-hoo's me and everything. But no, I'm always the kind of person that gets with the times, you know. That I
yeah,
like to move ahead of the times. And I saw it as like, oh, when no one was getting CDs anymore and people were downloading MP3s and everything was MP3s, I knew I was like, okay, that's cool. Now everyone kept saying your CDs don't have to scratch anymore. Your music doesn't have to scratch. It won't skip. It won't skip. That's how they were selling it to us. Your music won't skip with an MP3. But MP3s on MP3 players were amazing. That was the best we could like. You could buy a whole album, download the whole album, and then download it to your MP3 player. And you could buy the album through the MP3 player stores. That was perfect. We don't need anything else. You can give us our album art, and then when it was like the iPod, you can actually have the album art on there and swipe through. So digital albums is still. Are you there?
yeah.
Your
Hello?
video cut out. You there?
Yeah, I'm here, but your video looks like it. Okay, there you are.
Okay, so like digital albums is still fine. That still works, but Spotify, those other things like that. Apple Music, we sold many albums on Apple Music and never saw any of the money for it, which was like, and then they turned around and was like, oh, there's all these loopholes and like, you got to pay all these fees to be on Apple Music, so that's why I didn't get paid anything. And I was like, okay, so how do artists make a living selling their albums anymore, man? So when that happened, I thought about it and I'm like, well, what's the next step? The next step is going back to those MP3 players, really, because that worked for us. But how do you get people to want an MP3 player? That you got to make it something fresh, right? So I think because of phones, nobody wants an MP3 player. Their music's all on their phone. That is it. But if you
Yeah.
have a new app, it's not Spotify, it's not Apple Music. It's like Spotify, but every album you collect on that app you have bought physically from a band, either from their website or from Walmart or from Best Buy or a music store or online. You bought the album. It comes on a little keychain. You scan it with your phone to prove that you bought it. Scan it with your phone. It's got like a serial number. It can only be scanned once to be bought. If you want to share the album, you can actually share it, but you actually have to give it to somebody. And when they scan it and they put the serial code you give them in, then it goes to their phone and you don't have it on your phone anymore if you want to share it. You can actually probably share songs this way too, which means you can load one or two songs, not your whole album, and be like, you can have these songs, but then you don't have them anymore. Letting people physically get rid and grab and collect songs and music from albums that they want, making those digital things, those digital assets, physical again, to where you can take the card, I can give it, scan it to my phone, and there it is. Open something like Spotify. Maybe it's called, the Walkman. Maybe I get Sony to produce it. It's the Sony Walkman app, But you open it up, and all of the music you purchase from the Sony Walkman store or from the Sony Walkman keychains you buy from Walmart, it's on that app. That's what we need, I think. And that's the same thing we need for DVDs, too. If DVDs aren't selling much anymore, you need something that looks like a little card with a USB flash drive. You can plug it in if there's an old thing with a USB or PlayStation 2 or not PlayStation 5 or like if you have the new Xbox or something, it should still have a USB port. And then you get Xbox, or whatever proprietary like hardware, get them to agree with the company so that they're selling it on their device. You put the USB in, it unlocks it just the same way as the scanning the music unlocks it on your phone. I've been wanting to do this, and I've been working on stuff that helps me like package these ideas. So the film we're producing right now, it's called Death Cab, and it's a movie. I think it's one of the best movies that will ever exist once we have this movie in our hands and we can watch it. it's definitely a fun script. So many people like the script, and we aren't publicly crowdfunding it, but we're allowing producers right now. Anybody watching this that has ever wanted to be an executive producer, who's ever wanted to have their name on the credits of a film, who's ever wanted to come to set, or who's ever wanted to, you can work remotely if you would like. But if you want to be a producer and you contribute to this film and you bring in contributions to the film to help the budget, you are an executive producer. You're doing what an executive producer does. You are helping us fulfill the budget. Once the budget is at 50%, we're going to match the budget with a film funding company and a film grant company. They'll match us with 50% of the budget, and we're not looking for a gigantic budget. So you can contribute anything from 500 to 5,000, whatever you want. Whatever you contribute, I can't just offer people uh, profits of my company. You're not allowed to do profit sharing on Indiegogo or Kickstarter or any of that stuff. So you have to talk to me privately, and I have to literally like work with you like we're business partners. Basically, we sign an agreement. This is your movie just as much as it is anyone else, or as much as you contribute to it, and then you're contributing into something that you are working on, and then you're getting paid to have a job at the end of it. When the budget's done, you're getting paid from the budget. So it's really a win-win for anyone who wants to do this. But one of the ways we're distributing the film is we're going to be distributing them on those download cards. It's going to be the first time I've ever seen a movie push for physical distribution that wasn't DVD. I think it's going to be really cool. Plus, we're going to release it with like it's going to be like a little box set. So buy a box, and the box it's almost like buying a board game, like Cards Against Humanity or something. Because when you get the box, you're going to have the movie in it. You're going to be able to either use the download code to watch the movie on your TV, or scan it on your phone to watch it instantly, or use the USB flip out to plug it in USB wise. You get to choose where you want to watch it at. There's the cards. It's going to come with like the booklet that tells you about the different characters in the movie, almost like you're playing a video game. Because if you remember playing video games, the booklet you couldn't wait to get home. You would open the freaking video game in the car. You would open the booklet and you would learn everything you could about all the enemies. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to fight that enemy. Holy shit!
They don't do
what?
that anymore in the
Yeah,
games.
they
There's
don't
no
do that.
instructions, no booklets, nothing like they
Nothing.
used to.
So I want to bring it back, but I want to put that in this movie. So you're reading the booklet and you're getting to know all the characters and who the characters are, but it's not telling you about any spoilers or anything like that. And then there's gonna be at the bottom of the box there's gonna be like a key, and it's gonna look like a key to a car or something. And then you flip the box over and there's a little keyhole you put in, and when you put the key in the keyhole, it opens the bottom of the box, and that's where we have like the little goodies. Like we'll have like special things, maybe stickers or some secret download code for merchandise or something like that. But it's going to be like a little box, and the box itself that it comes in is going to like a cab, like a taxi cab. So that is something that we're doing with this film, and that's why I want to get people invested in this right now, or involved in it. Excuse me, I can't use the word invested. Involved in it, vested. I can't say the word vested, but I want to get people involved in it, and I want people to get the chance to do this because we're also going to other places for funding. So I can't promise that this will be available for everyone to get involved in this movie and do this with us. I can't promise that for very long. I just got off the phone yesterday with someone. I'm on the phone again tomorrow with someone, or day after tomorrow with someone, and I'm on the phone with people all next week. Like, so if we go one route, then this film will be picked up and we'll have to close the doors, and we'll only have like a handful of producers at that point. This allows people that have never been on set of a movie or have never even had their name on a movie. It allows them to get that opportunity. But so does Skate to Hell, so does Clown Motel, so does all the other Kickstarter movies that we're all doing together and friends of us are doing. So I want this to be a little different, which is why I haven't crowdfunded it. Once we get 50% of our budget, then I'm going to go to crowdfunding for the post budget and for the marketing, and we're gonna pre-sell stuff. So that's where we're gonna be able to let people buy those taxi cabs, buy the DVD, buy whatever the T-shirt and everything they're buying is helping the movie get bigger and bigger. So if you pre-order the movie for $20, you pre-order it, you also get a ticket to go see it in theaters or to download it for a two-night rental. So it's gonna be fun, man.
All right, yeah, that sounds really cool. Yeah, I hope that works out. That'll be really amazing to see.
That's gonna work out, definitely.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I can't
sure.
talk about the
Who
casting crew.
wouldn't want to do that? Yeah.
Well, I want to be the first producer, or maybe not the first, but one of those types of producers where you hear I got a movie coming out, and you know that the casting crew is going to be an A-list casting crew. You don't know who they are. You just know it's going to be an A-list cast and crew, and that's what it is on this movie. The cast and crew in this movie is one of the best that I've ever worked with, and I hired, like, I won't say hired, I wrote the
Involved.
script. I sent the script to people, and they loved the script, and I signed them on. I let them join the team. They will be hired. They will be hired within July. But I signed them onto the team because I believed in them. Some of them signed on in 2015, 2017 when I first wrote the script. But I believed in them, and they weren't like the biggest names in the industry, but I loved their work, right? Now, fast forward 9 years later, they actually are some of the bigger names in the industry, and I'm very proud to say that they still love the script and they won't let me quit. they, they're like, "Hey, man, yeah, you've been doing great. Loved Five Nights at Freddy's. So what about Death Cab? What's up with that script?" And whenever one of our actors told me that, I sat back on it and I was like, "Man, I would have given up, but he never did. So this movie will be amazing because of him."
So let's see. Echo's sharing your IMDb and Instagram and all that. So, and the trailer for Escape
Oh,
to
thank you
Hell.
very much.
So looks like I
You
got
know
some.
what? There's another way you can support both the marketing and merchandising for Skate to Hell. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be like commissioning people to help us with like making stuff for it, and Sean's really cool with that. But I also, if you want to support Rude, is a movie that we made, me and my wife made with some amazing actors, and we shot the whole thing on our film, and we're thinking about releasing it and just letting people pay $5 to download it and just let them have it for a very low price, because we made the film with no budget on a phone just so we can tell people, hey, you can do anything you put your mind to, and I got a story that I had to tell. So, but we did that, and maybe I'm thinking right now, maybe if we like we've tried the festival racket, we've tried other things. Maybe if we just release it to the distributors that we have, and we just release it to them, maybe it'll help also produce the next film. So if you guys think that's good and you want to see Rude a lot earlier than we planned, comment or message me, and I'll see if I can make it happen.
Do you have any plans anytime soon to
Cupcake
go
was
any?
crazy.
What was that?
Someone commented, the cupcake was crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the cupcake was crazy. That's awesome. That was probably one of the best scenes in it, I think.
Thank you. And that's what's so wild about this movie, man. I had so many of my scenes and so many lines cut from that movie, but what lasted? People have come up to me many times, and said, "You guys were my favorite characters in the movie. The people that broke in that was my favorite scene. Oh my god, y'all!" And that never happens in any movie. Usually, you have to be in a movie from like start to finish to be people's favorite part of the movie. So it's
Yeah.
really cool. We're lucky. Scott's just a great Scott, Seth, and Emma are just such an amazing writing team that I don't know if they're ever gonna, like. If you do see this, please write more movies. And I'm not just talking Five Nights movies. Like I would love to see Scott, Emma, and Seth become like their own production company together, and they just tell stories, and they tell mini stories. Because then Scott could tell stories that have nothing to do with Five Nights, but he's good and he's got some amazing stories up here. So he could tell stories that have nothing to do with Five Nights, and then he can turn those into video games as well. So he can go opposite. He like went from video game to movie. And he can make a movie that goes to video game, and then he's done full circle. Like that's like the magnum opus for any video game nerd.
Yeah. You have any favorite video games?
Five Nights is definitely one of them, and it was way before I even was in the movie. Just because I like horror games so much, but Five Nights is the kind of horror game. And I've been saying this for probably believe it or not, for 5 years. Uh, Five Nights is like the horror game that you get scared shitless, but then you laugh at yourself because you're yelling at like a chicken and a teddy bear and like a bunny. It's like, ah, oh, it's a fucking bunny. like, it's not like you're yelling and then you're gonna see this in your dreams and nightmares. It's like you're screaming. And I know there are some little kids that are terrified of like Bonnie and all of them now because of the story and the folklore. But as an adult, you're not terrified of the machines. You're not terrified of like the look on the game. It's just the jump scare and the timing is just so perfect. And the way that they build the tension, it's like they're tightening and tightening the tension over and over and over, and it just snaps. So it's really cool.
Mhm. Yeah. Have you played The Quarry yet?
I haven't.
That
Oh,
Ted
but
Raimi
I'll
is
say
in
so.
it.
Five Nights isn't
Lynn
my favorite
Shay.
game. It's one of my favorite games. My favorite video game of all time is probably Warframe, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
Warframe is insane. I love The Evil Within, BioShock, and other thriller, eerie, Silent Hill, Resident Evil, any eerie horror games. Camera Obscura, that one was really good back in the day on Dreamcast. Oh my god,
mm,
what was it called? It wasn't Camera Obscura. You're using the Camera Obscura. It was called Fatal Frame.
Fatal Frame.
That was my shit, dude.
I'm trying to remember that. It sounded
God, it
really.
was so scary. God, now that we're talking about it, if anybody's watching this and wants to make a Fatal Frame movie, put me in it, please. Fuck, for the love of God, put me in it. Because honestly, Fatal Frame is so scary, dude. You have a camera, right? And you're walking around. It's like third person at first, like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. But then when you pull the camera out, the camera obscura has the ability to capture the souls that were like lost on the earth, right? But when you pull the camera out, it goes first person view, and the camera can see ghosts. You
Uh,
cannot, until you pull the camera into first person view, you cannot see the damn ghosts. When you take the first picture, snaps, and then when you go back to third person, you can see the ghost like fading out but coming towards you, and you can run away from it. That game was terrifying because you would see something move across the ground, and you're like, "What was that?" And you pull the camera out, and it's like right in your face as soon as you pull the damn camera out. So if they made a movie, oh my god, Fatal Frame would be such a damn good movie. God, like, oh, I have this camera, and this camera. It's almost like Ghostbusters, but like for adults and way way scarier. I think less cutesy, way more scary.
shoot. Let's do it. Let's make the movie. No, I'm just
I'm
kidding.
all about it.
It's like we'll talk
That needs
later.
to
We'll
happen.
write a script. Yeah. Who knows?
But
Yeah.
believe it or not, because of AI and them listening to all your conversations, because we talked about it, they'll probably go and make the movie. I'm
Yeah.
not even kidding. I wish I was kidding, dude. I talked to Christian Stokes, the guy that plays Hank in Five Nights at Freddy's with me. He plays my dad. I talked to Christian Stokes, and I said, "Man, I had this dream the other night," and he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah." Me and you both played in like the Disney's Gargoyle live action movie. I played the skinny bald gargoyle, and you played the old gargoyle. I swear. I was like, and in the same dream, you and I also acted in a live action reboot from the old 3D cartoon reboot, 3D animation cartoon. Uh, I was like, I saw both those visions, man. I did, and then I found out Disney is making the Gargoyles movie.
I heard that. Yeah, they're gonna do a live
Like
action.
right after we talked about it, I was like, God, please put me in that movie, dude. Please put me in that movie because that'd be great. I mean, that would be just so good to see Carl and Hank together again, making a cameo appearance in a Disney movie as gargoyles. Oh, that'd be great.
That was a good show. I remember that. That
I
was really.
loved that show. I watched that. I binged that. That was the first thing I ever binged. Like I've binged a lot of things now, but that was the first thing. I had it on VHS. I had the whole series on VHS, and I remember at least twice a year watching the whole damn series.
On that movie or the VHS one, and who knows where it is now that I had it. But I remember there was actually a game, VHS game that you could play with it or whatever. Do you remember that? Where there was like the gargoyle game that you could play.
How did it was on the VHS?
Yeah, or it came with the VHS, or it was a board game, or you got to watch stuff like play along with it or something. It was like one of those TV connection games.
Oh man,
But
I don't remember. I don't remember. I do remember. Like I remember certain things like Indian in the Cupboard came with an Indian in it.
yeah,
Jumanji came with the game in it. I remember certain things like that, but I don't remember that one. Damn.
but yeah, that was one.
I would
Um,
also like to see a live action We're Back. That'd be another movie that'd be great if they made it into a live action. We're Back about the
oh, the
dinosaurs.
dinosaur
Oh
story. We're back.
God, dude, that's a good story. That's such a good story. Professor Screw Eyes Eccentric Circus. You bring it back. You get John Goodman to still play the T Rex. You got a movie, dude.
Oh
You make it CGI. Like it starts off as a real T Rex. It's terrifying, and then he's like, it's still a cartoon T Rex, but he's like CGI cartoon T Rex now.
yeah,
Because
right.
they like the way they did it was like they looked like real T Rexes, and then it like the eyes popped out, and you got all bulgy and cartoony, And it was like,
Mhm.
oh, they have the serum that makes them goofy and not dangerous, so that they can bring them to Earth and make them part of this circus. I don't know. It was so funny.
Echo was saying, didn't they remake Fatal Frame?
Yeah, they did. They made. Well, I don't know if they remade it, but they made a like a HD remaster of it a couple years back, like 3 years ago, I think, or maybe even more recent than that. I do remember that. I do remember that. I never got to play it. I need to. I think part of me was like, "Oh, I want to play that," and the other part of me was like, "No, you don't. It's gonna be terrifying. It's gonna be worse than the old one. Just don't. You got Five Nights at Freddy's. You're good enough. Like, just do that."
Yeah. So, for Five Nights at Freddy's, did your agent get you that job, or how did you
Yeah.
come across that?
I mean, most of the time, most of the stuff that you get that's like premiere stuff, even if the film themselves wants you and just goes, "Man, we like this acting," they contact your agent first. They do.
right.
I've noticed in this industry, I'm a workaholic, so I like to make sure that work's getting done, and my agent and my managers and everybody just want me to like relax and let them take care of it because they're really good at their job. But I'm like, "Have you done this? Have you heard back from this? Have you done that?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm pestering you. I'm sorry." I'm just like, I have to. So I also want to book my own stuff all the time. So like I booked Skate to Hell, I booked Follow Friday, I booked a bunch of films, but sometimes I'll contact people and they're like, "If you're really this guy that you say you are, if you're really the guy from Five Nights at Freddy's, then why don't you have more followers?" I've heard that, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's rude." I'm like, "That's
Wow.
rude, man." For one, these apps are set up to where like you can do whatever you want. They control how many followers you have, and I think it's based upon how much you use the app and follow other people. Probably, I don't know. And it's like then you can buy your followers and stuff. I was like, I don't. I'm not
Yeah, I
an
hear people
internet
buy followers.
celebrity.
It's like, that's crap. I'd rather have legit followers
Yeah,
than
well,
just.
you know what the new followers is not caring about followers, like just being like, this app is rigged and it's meant to be rigged, but the people you get to connect with, like what to me is more important is like I could have a million followers, but then I wouldn't be able to have conversations with anybody. I wouldn't have like one conversation, but since I don't have that many, I can easily be like, "Oh, I'm animating this cartoon for this indie movie and I need animators." And I'll get 50 people right away like trying to, get the job, and then I get to talk to these people and we're making really cool things. And because I don't have all those followers, I got hundreds of requests for me to like act in other people's stuff, and I can actually see it and respond and talk to them. But if you ever message somebody with millions of followers, 9 times out of 10 you don't get messaged back. Like I'm
Yeah,
very surprised that my friend Jay messages me back because he's got like almost 2 million followers. So I don't know how he does it. I'm like, how do you see my messages, man? Like I don't know how he does it. I'll be honest.
wow. I couldn't imagine having that many. It's like random messages or however many come in. It's like, how can you keep up with all that? That'd
I
just be
know, man.
insane.
It's a lot of work.
There's no way.
Yeah, I'm very honored that somebody can find my message when you have millions of people trying to get a hold of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. Trying to think what else we got going on here. Let's see if there's any other comments there. Did they remake that? So any other? Oh, I know I was going to ask about convention. I forgot what got off track. But any conventions or film festivals you plan on going to?
Yeah, we're booking a lot, so we'll have lists of them online. But I forget a lot of these types of things. Like I'm always like I'll have auditions and lines in my head. Right now, I got this. I'm producing this film, so I have so much to do with that in my head. But I do know we're gonna be at RetroCon again in September, and there's some really cool people gonna be there with me. I don't know all who, but I think Christian Stokes is gonna be there, and Hick Sherman's gonna be there. Um, and then I also know that we have one in Minnesota, right? Michigan. There's one in Michigan, but that one was in Los Angeles, and it got moved to Michigan, which is just so weird. I've never heard of a whole
That's a
convention
quite a
getting moved.
distance. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of a whole convention getting moved. So we're gonna both learn about this one together, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't really know what to expect.
We'll see. We'll see how that one goes. Yeah, but I'm sure you'll have it listed on either your Instagram or website, Facebook, or something
Oh
of
yeah,
what
oh,
convention you'll have
absolutely.
going. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
And as
anyway,
long as the
just
conventions are on their game and they're like tagging me in their posts, I'll be sharing those. So
so sounds good. Sounds good. I was gonna say eat. Hold on, Eat Brains Love. There we go. I did want to bring that up. That was I
You
watched that
watched it,
earlier
right?
today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how was that? How was
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I enjoyed that. I liked your character. It was funny. I was
Thank
hoping
you.
he'd last a little bit longer and everything, like all the remarks about
That's
the
the Joseph Poliquin. That's the Joseph Poliquin shtick. Is that everyone always tells me that? I wish your character would have lasted a little bit longer, to the point where, like, I don't know, maybe it should be a thing. Maybe, like, even movies that I'm the lead in, I should, like, be like, hey, make me the lead in this movie, but then don't put me in much. But then people are like, yeah, he was. That'd be great.
And it was like you were saying, the one kid, he's like, yeah, he's got a hole in his pocket so he can jerk off in class. Fucking genius. Or
Oh, you want to hear
genius or
something cool?
whatever.
That kid, that guy that plays that guy, right? This is another. Okay, so
Mhm.
IMDb does this thing where they say it's called no small parts, right? I promise you, they're probably gonna do one on him one day. He did that part in that movie, and he went off to do so much cool things, dude. He's done so many cool things. His name's Alejandro. He did oh man, what is it called? Have you seen the freaking, what is it called? Uh, the iPhone cinematic trailer, like for the cinematic mode on your phone, and it's like a Western movie they're shooting. He's one of the
Okay.
cowboys that barges in the door. He's that guy. And then he's also one of the few people in a very small cast in that movie called The Gardener. Have you heard of that one?
The Gardener. I
I
don't
think it's
think so.
Sigourney Weaver, excuse me. And
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver and the guy from Battle Royale, I think.
Okay.
Or is it from Battle Royale? He's from something.
I'll
I
have to
don't
check
know.
it out. But yeah, I'll
I
look
feel
it
so
up.
bad. I didn't prepare this because I didn't know we were going to talk about this movie, but it's called The Gardener. It's a great, like, is it an award baby or something? Like, it's doing great. It's doing very, very great, and it's just cool to know this guy is such an awesome actor, and he deserves everything he gets already. But it's
Mhm.
just so cool to see him, like, oh, he played this part, and then now he's doing that. It's just so awesome.
Yep. Let's see. Steven here, he says that he can't guarantee a big following, but he can help a little to promote you if you're interested. He promotes a bunch of people. He's got a
Definitely.
group called Women of Darkness. So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
So he'll definitely share anything that you're in. So I'm surprised he doesn't know what that movie The Gardener is. Do you know that, Steven? Because he always looks up movies, or he's like our knowledgeable person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when it comes to, sometimes we'll be talking about stuff and we're not sure what it is, and Steven will come up with an answer. So who knows? He might come up with an answer for that in a minute. That'd be great. So
Here you go. Look, I'm gonna
oh, you're
look
looking
it
it
up
up right now? Okay. Oh, he just said, "Well, I could look it up." So, that's funny.
Dude, he's not even credited. He's not even freaking credited in Eat Brains Love. That's
Wow.
wild.
Not even
That's wild.
uncredited perv kid in class or whatever. That's funny.
Maybe he just was really like, I don't want to have that on my freaking resume.
Jerk off in class. Yeah, you probably wouldn't want that.
Okay, it's not The Gardener, right? No, it is The Gardener, right?
I'm gonna see.
What? It was a brand new movie. I thought it was called Gardener or The Gardener. Dang, I feel so stupid that I can't remember it now. I was trying to help and promote your movie, man, because I like your work. I can't freaking remember it.
Well, we can figure out later, I'm sure. But...
Yeah, you keep asking me questions. I'm gonna keep typing. I'm gonna look up.
Now you're just coming on here giving the titles like, I think it might be this title. Who can find it first?
Right.
Steven said there is a Gardner 2016 documentary on Tubi.
No, it's not a documentary now.
Oh, okay. Well, no, you did say Sigourney Weaver.
Yes, Master Gardener. Excuse me. Oh man, I'm an idiot.
What was that?
Joel Egerton in it. Okay, and it's my friend Eduardo Lawson. All right, or Eduardo Lawson. and he is awesome. And there we go. I just want to make sure to give him the credit he deserves. Eduardo is awesome. That movie's doing great. I saw his clips from it and stuff. But yeah, if you see that, it's just like it's so wild to see him doing such big, amazing things. Like he was at the premiere with Sigourney Weaver, and they were like taking pictures together. And I'm like, yeah, he's the masturbation dude from Eat Brains Love. I mean, that just goes to show you can play any part, you can do any movie, and still go on to do great things.
Yeah. He said it's up on Hulu. He doesn't have that, but
Oh dang!
yeah,
What, Master Gardener
Master
or Eat Brains Love?
Gardener. So, Master Gardener starring Masturbator. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, anything you can do. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Camp Blood 9 coming out. I do something really crazy. People are going to be like, what the hell did he just do that? It's crazier than the kid turning off a glass. But it's all in good fun, though, you know? I mean, acting crazy and doing outrageous stuff in movies. I mean, it's a good time.
Yeah. Because it's never like, you're not doing what people are just like, I can't believe they did that. And it's like,
well, it's not real.
It's not real. They didn't do what they, like, what the characters did. Jesus, come on.
Yeah. Funny, definitely would be doing it in real life. That's for sure.
Yeah, everyone thought Eat Brains Love was disgusting. So many people were like, "Oh, it's so gross. It's so gory. Oh, it's so gross."
It's a zombie movie.
For those people, I'm gonna let you know. For those people, don't watch Skate to Hell. Then you think Eat Brains Love is gory and disgusting? Do not. You're in for a treat. If you have not seen a Sean C. Phillips film before, you are in for a treat. Like Sean C. Phillips he's got his own style, and he's gonna be a legendary filmmaker because he's sticking to his shtick, you know, like he has a style, and it's not. I think people assume that it's gonna be like, oh, it's Sean C. Phillips. He's doing these like, B horror movies that are corny and cutesy and funny, but I think with Desert Fiends and Skate to Hell, he's about to show the world that like he's more of the trauma films kind of guy. Like he's definitely going that direction, I think. And he's doing what trauma films wishes they would have done. No offense, but like Lloyd Kaufman's amazing. He's insanely amazing. But I feel like trauma films didn't get the opportunity that Sean's getting because there wasn't crowdfunding whenever he did. Like, when he was first peaking. I wouldn't say I don't think he's hit his peak. I think trauma films still have not hit their peak. But like when he was first coming on the scene and stuff, if they would have had crowdfunding like they do now, oh man, I loved Toxic Avenger when I was a kid. Had the action figures, bro. I loved that, and now they're remaking it. And Lloyd Kaufman actually had a lot to do with the new remake. And one of my friends worked on it, and he told me, "Dude, you will not be disappointed. It's a blast. It's better than the first. Like the first one's better than all the trauma movies together. Like this is the trauma prize. This is what he's been wanting to do." I was like, "Yeah, sweet." Because that's what I want to see, man. And I feel like that's what Skate to Hell is. It's like Lloyd Kaufman's gonna see Skate to Hell and shake Sean Phillips' hands. I know he's gonna be like, "Great job."
Steven says he remembers the Toxic Crusaders. That was his intro. And
oh wow, yeah. So Toxic Avenger had a Toxic Crusaders spinoff cartoon.
I guess there was a cartoon. Yeah, he said he remembers the cartoon Toxic Crusaders.
Was that Trauma 2? Like they got licensed to do that from Trauma? Honestly, that's so crazy. I didn't even know Trauma had a damn cartoon. That's so cool.
Yep, he said, yep, that's correct. So
wow. What is the weirdest Trauma film you've ever seen? His name's Steven too, right?
Yeah.
What is the weirdest?
His is Steven with a V. Yeah.
Okay, so there's It's so funny because Steven and Stephen, like it's like you barely. Are you supposed to? Or you just say it the same?
Say what?
I said, do you just say it the same, or is it like as it comes from a person named Steven? Because
it's spelled Steven. It's just spelled It's not Stephen. It's Steven or Stefan. It's not like Vampire Diaries.
If we have a boy, we're gonna name it Joseph with a V. Be like Joseph, Josev.
Joseph.
Right. I've never heard anyone with that name. Maybe that should be my stage name. I should change my name to Josev.
There you go.
Like that. That is actually a really bad. I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be my Instagram name.
That's funny. Thanks, Echo. Yeah, he's gonna bring that up. I need to do a movie called Ass Grinder. Yep. So. It's when I was my clip from Axe Grinder. I'm making fun of the killer in it. I find the mask is like, oh, I'm the Axe Grinder. Like, nope, I'm the ass grinder. Bitches, take it. So yeah, he's saying I should do a spin off of that.
Tater Burger. Tater Burger is a gory movie.
Oh, and he said, watch
Tater Burger.
Tater Burger or Tater City. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I got a feeling Tater Burger is
I know,
the
like
first
the
one and Tater City is the second one.
Yeah. Well, what is it? The Blue Collar Comedy Tour run. He's like, "Are you Ron Tater Salad?"
Here's a good question. Hold on. Hey Siri, is she listening to me? How much money did Rubber make in the box office? What was the budget for Rubber?
The Psychic Tire. That was a weird movie.
Yeah, see, and that's crazy because like they didn't make their money back. But it like, dude, okay, so someone said I'm gonna make a movie about a psychic tire that's alive and it just bounces and kills everybody. It's a tire, and he got $800,000 to do this movie. He got $800,000 to do this movie. We are looking for $100,000 to do a great, great comedy horror fantasy film with an A-list cast and an A-list crew.
That was
$800,000.
$800,000.
$800,000. We want to do $100,000 film. That movie was $800,000. It was about a rubber fucking tire. It had no like celebrities. I think it just like it was just a rubber tire, and it made $100,000 back. I'm telling people like if you don't think that $100,000 film is a good investment, so many people have told me they're like, oh, we only invest in films that are of millions of dollars. I'm like, but those don't always make the money back. Like you don't always make 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30 million. You don't always make that back. So that's a way bigger risk.
Right.
Why would you not want to spend less money and make way bigger of a profit like margin? I don't get it. I think people go, well, we don't know many filmmakers that can do a whole film in on $100,000. That's bull. Look at Terrifier. Terrifier 1 was like a $23,000 budget, right?
Oh, it made 12 million, 13 million. Shit.
Off of a couple like what? Off of tens of grands. It made $13 million in the box office. So those people are just loving it, and those people are laughing about it, and they're like, "Yeah, people should have believed in us." And this movie's not even like that. This movie's not some like funny, weird clown with a sock face mask. Like it's just like this movie is. It's a lovable movie that you can love so easily, and it's so much harder to find people that want to take a jump into filmmaking when it comes to that. But for some reason, if I were to say this movie is about an old dirty sock that somebody's been goobering in and thrown under his bed and it came to life and now it's killing people, they would want to make that movie. They'd be like, "Oh, that sounds like a movie." What?
That is that's a movie coming out. You know what Crust is? Steve Whalen or whatever from People Under the Stairs. It's called Crust. There's like a sock monster that.
You fucking lying.
No, I swear to God. And Kennedy.
Can you go look this up?
It's not out yet, but it's called Crust, and
he like it's like a sock.
There's a sock monster. All his tears and
semen, probably.
I swear to God, it's called Crust.
Oh my God! I was making a joke, and they're doing it. That fucking movie got funded before mine did.
Sean Whalen, he's wrote and directed, and then Rebecca.
Sean fucking Whalen's doing it.
Yeah.
Does he have a time machine? Did he hear this conversation and he went back and did it?
Oh, he got Daniel Roebuck to play in it. I think he was in The Monsters and Road. What else was he in?
That's wild.
He was in Final Destination, U.S. Marshals. So,
that's so wild.
Felissa Rose is going to be in it. Rebecca Kennedy plays his love interest. I know that because I had talked to her about that, and she was a guest on my show before. Let's see who else is in it. I don't really know too many of these people. I don't know. Ethan Daniel Colbert, Jan Birch, Jackson Everest. The big people that I know is Felissa Rose.
Well,
Yeah.
cool.
So. Yeah. I can't believe you hear about that. They even did like a little funding for it and stuff too.
That's so ridiculous. I can't believe, like, you can't, like, you know what?
A depressed has-been child actor and owner of a dingy laundromat becomes powerfully vengeful when his collection of lone socks transforms into a protective, cute, murderous monster named Crust. Oh. Oh, I think we lost him. he just can't believe it. He's like, I'm out of here. That's funny. He'll probably be back in a minute here. He just lost connection, hopefully. Let's see. Jan Birch is a Facebook friend. I can try and get you. Okay. Yeah, maybe I can talk to him about Crust.
Back and back.
Yeah, welcome back. You're probably like, what the fuck?
He's like, well, we had a guest and we told him about this movie and he quit acting.
We told him that stole his idea. He's like, fuck, I'm out. I'm just done.
We told him that they actually made a movie about Krusty
Sock
Socks, and he freaking quit. He just quit acting and he deleted his Instagram.
He's given up. Skate to Hell is his final performance.
His phone is on Facebook Marketplace. He's done. He's fucking done.
But yeah, I'm hoping. I don't know. Eventually, I was probably going to have Rebecca and Steve Wellen come on and talk about it. So I don't know when that'll happen. But they've been busy.
Well, I'll be watching. I'll be watching that episode. I'll be commenting. What the?
Now, you can come up and be like, "What the fuck? You took my idea of my movie."
Dude, I was joking. That wasn't even an idea. I just literally came up with that right here and now. So I'm not even worried about that. I'm more like, who funded that? Who the fuck funded that? If you can find people who will fund a movie like that, those are the kind of people that are just like, let's do anything. We'll do any movie. Like, what's your movie idea? Okay, so yes.
I love it. Let's do it.
I didn't even tell you. I'm psychic. I heard it already. Are you sure? Yes. It's gonna make people laugh.
Maybe the next one will be. Maybe the next one will just be some tissues, some snot rags.
Right? Jeez, dude.
Oh
God.
Man.
But it's so crazy, man. I feel like I really do feel kind of somebody like me that has such bad anxiety. I feel like this AI day and age, I wasn't even afraid of AI. I was always the one that was talking like, AI sucks. AI can't do what we can do. Whatever. It can't make art. It sucks at making art. It makes all the art seem like okay, so AI is like one artist. Every AI that exists, every single AI computer, it's one artist because it takes everybody's art and mushes it together and it has one style. Like even if it does other styles, it's like it kind of looks like an AI picture. But when it comes to its brain, it is fucking terrifying. They can tell AI how to build something, right? And then they can say, AI, do you know how to take that and build something else with it that we didn't think of? And it goes, yeah, here you go, and gives them the instructions instantly. So they took a Wi-Fi router and they said, here are all the components to a Wi-Fi router. Can you make this Wi-Fi router using these components be able to make a radar that can see people walking around through walls, like walking around in their house? And AI went, yeah, we can do it, and it rebuilt it. Now they can take your Wi-Fi router and they can literally use that to spy on you like a camera without even needing a camera. It sends out signals and it just makes a 3D map radar of where you're at in your house. AI did that. So that is what creeps me out. Not that AI is like better at art, but that people can go, hey, here's a picture of all of my Pokemon cards all sprawled out on the floor. Here's one picture of the Pokemon cards. AI or Chat GPT or Perplexity, whatever you're using, you can go, can you take a picture of all my Pokemon cards and can you tell me which Pokemon cards are the most expensive in the whole stack? And it can instantly go these and point them out. So AI can do some scary stuff, and that is what bothers me because I feel like we're gonna be on like live chats like this, and we're gonna be like, man, I have an idea for this movie. and as soon as you say that sentence, StreamYard up here already has their AI implementation in their algorithm to hear a live stream. Someone just said, "I have an idea for a movie." Click, it starts recording you, and the AI listens to the whole idea for the movie, and then it writes the plot, it writes everything, it writes all this, it does AI actors, it does the AI camera, AI voice, everything, and then it goes, markets it, and sells it instantly. So me and you are just sitting here talking about a movie we want to do, and then we get on Facebook and they already have the movie. We've never heard of any of the actors because they're all fake. They're all computer generated people, but it just like instantly can do that now. That
Mm,
terrifies me. That bothers the fuck out of me.
mm. That's crazy. But it's like I've on the show in the past, we've talked about so many different ideas and jokes for movies and stuff that should be movies. And I'm like, I better stop saying stuff just in case someone steals the idea and
They
takes.
do. They will. They do. OTEP was just talking about that. There's like a very big movie out right now with like a big celebrity actress in it. And OTEP, who's this metal band singer and screamer, she wrote a script. And the guy, literally the guy that made the movie that is on there in the credits, he was writing the movie with her. It was her idea. He took it from her, ran off and sold it, made it. So yeah, they do that. People will literally get made, like they'll get made. They'll make a big movie and be, made person off of something they stole, and they do not have any remorse for it. It's sad, man. It's sad. I'd rather like not get there that easy, and all my ideas were from my brain. You know, like because I don't know how you could sleep at night going, yeah, that one day somebody's gonna find out that I didn't come up with all this stuff, and I'm not gonna have a job anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What was it? Remember we were sort of talking about earlier, Malcolm in the Middle, what's his name, Frankie Muniz or whatever, that movie Big Fat Liar, when he had the idea for that movie and that movie producer took it from him.
Yeah.
He's on the hunt
So
for that.
like they painted him blue. Paul Giamatti. That was
Yep.
awesome.
And then they played the song I'm Blue. That was hilarious.
I'm blue. Dude, I finally learned the lyrics to that song. They no one. I don't know if anybody knows the lyrics to that song, but we were hearing it in the car, and I was like, "I'm blue."
It's
I'm in.
yeah,
That's
it's
what
just
everyone
like
says.
it's like
Yeah, that's what everyone says. That's what they said. I think he's saying, "I'm blue. I'm indeed a blue guy." I think that's what he's saying.
I'm
I'm
indeed a
indeed
blue
a blue
guy.
guy. I'm indeed a blue
It
guy.
could be that, but like I've
I'm
seen it where
blue.
it
I'm
has like
indeed a blue
lyrics.
guy. It's,
That's
every time I
funny.
hear that song, I'm like, that's how I sing it now.
Yep. But like when they had like the subtitles or whatever, it says da, but like it's just like gibberish. I guess it's
Yeah,
like
I know.
because if
Everywhere
you see
I've
the
seen it, all
music
the lyrics.
video, it's like aliens, so I guess it's like alien
Right.
language or something. Or
I still think he said that. I think that they said it, and then people were like, "What the hell are you saying here?" It just sounds like "I'm a die." Okay, that's what it is. But I think he really did record it, going, "I'm indeed a blue guy."
I'm indeed a blue guy. It could be, or like Boomhauer.
Next time you hear it, you'll be like, "Well, he did say blue."
He did say blue. Now we gotta like listen to it and slow it down. They go like
Right.
bring it up.
Somebody's
Right.
gonna come back and be like, "I listened to it in reverse. It's evil."
People kill the blue. It's all we get. Uh, if there's a way, is there any way in a movie, like if you had a choice to get killed, how would you want to get killed or kill somebody?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, Eat Brain's Love was awesome. I love dying
Stomach.
like that, like getting your intestines eaten out of you. That's fun, and like doing like the special effects and like the guts coming out was great. Greyhound was great because I didn't die in that one, but I got my face shot off. And just gigantic. I don't know either.
In the front of the shelf.
Oh, it's in the front of the shelf. I want to show them that. I'm gonna go get it real quick. Oh, you're gonna get it? Okay. My wife's gonna go get it. But I have they let me keep the prosthetic for that movie, right? So if I had a choice in any movie of how I would want to die, I would want it to be where they had to like body life cast me. So they made a whole new Joe model, right? And either exploded it or like like let alligators eat it or something like that, and then let me have the head and the rest of the torso, whatever was left over. Because my favorite part about that whole experience is like the molds and stuff, and like the silicone and all the like the gross parts that you get to take home with you afterwards. Like
Nice.
this. That's my favorite part of it. Is like stuff like that. So This is what happened to me in Greyhound on Apple TV. If you want to go see that movie, that's what happens to me in that movie. So, that was a really fun experience. But it's if I had a choice of how I want to kill somebody in a movie, uh, I mean, I would want to kill John Wick. Like that's what I would want. If I had a choice, I would want it to be like John Wick number 22. You've seen 22 films with Keanu Reeves killing everybody, and then he runs into me, and boom, I'm actually the guy that finally kills John Wick. That would be it.
So, and when you get a script and portray the characters, do you have any certain process of how you see yourself as that person? Like, what's your
Oh yeah,
process?
of course. My well, my first the way I get into it is I read it once. I do this to remember the lines, but I also do this to get into the character's head. I read it once and I don't read it again until right before I do the audition. Because it's like seeing a movie to me. I pay such good attention to it the first time I read it. It's like seeing a movie and then you go off and you're quoting the movie in your head or you're talking about your favorite scenes in the movie. You do the same thing. As an actor, you can go off and keep quoting it. Maybe you won't remember every line, but you remember your favorite lines, you remember what the scene was like, you remember what happened in the scene, and then you're also thinking like, okay, well, what is this guy thinking, or this person thinking? What would the character be feeling? What have they gone through to get to that point in that scene? Certain things like what are their political views? I think of like what every single step to that character's walk through life would have been like to make them come up with the things they say. So in other words, like me and my dad, we aren't very close. But if the character was close with their dad, then I would, think about that. I would think about like, how maybe something they said, in the past, like meant a lot to him, and so when he says this line, like "You're never supposed to give up," maybe his dad used to tell him that, and that's why he like stops for a second before he says it because he's thinking about like how someone told him that. There's certain things like that that I'll do to get myself into the mindset of a character that isn't me. But most of the time, people see me and think, "Oh, he would be the good stoner character. He'd be the good goofy guy. He'd be the best friend character. He'd be that guy." So here's a good example. I played a character in a horror. Right, I'm not gonna say what, and they expected me to be a hillbilly. I had no idea. I had no idea that that's how they saw me, and they expected me to be a hillbilly. So they wanted me to take out my gauges, and they wanted me to wear my hat and be like, "Oh my goodness," like that. And I didn't even do the audition like that. I didn't want the character to be that kind of character. And maybe if they told me ahead of time, I'd been like, "Okay, get into this mindset of this character being a hillbilly and doing, oh my goodness, I can't believe." But they didn't tell me. They didn't tell me that's what they wanted. So when the director comes up and he's like, "You've got this really hillbilly quality to you." He's like, "If you keep going for hillbilly roles, he's like, you'll book them." And I was so fucking insulted when he said that. And I popped in my gauges. I turned my hat backwards, and I was like, "I'll show you, fucking hillbilly." It was like fucking, "I'll show you, hillbilly." And I made sure to like just bring it. I was like, ah, like just freaking out and like, like I was just fast paced, like not trying to be hillbilly. I don't know if maybe I do have a Louisiana accent or a slightly, thick country accent sometimes, but I don't want to be portrayed as the hillbilly or just the stoner best friend or whatever. So you have to get an audition, you have to do the audition and do it, and hopefully they you did it the way that they want it and they picked you for it. But then when you get to set and you already have the part and you're already on set and the cameras are all rolling, you get to create that character. And now, if it's dangerous because if you go out on a limb, if you're like, "Oh, I'm doing something they really didn't want," like if they wanted a hillbilly and I knew they wanted a hillbilly, and the lines are something like, "I'm a hillbilly," just like, not really that, but you know what I mean. Like if they
Right.
told me in the lines that they wanted a hillbilly, they're gonna get a hillbilly, fine. But if you make the character seem like this guy that's supposed to be innocent, and the audience is supposed to be like, "Oh, that dude shouldn't have, freaked out or shot her. He should have been texting and driving, something like that." If it was something like that, you shouldn't, you should tell me. So they didn't tell me, so I was like, all right, well, I don't want to be portrayed as a hillbilly in this scene. I really don't think it matters that I'm a hillbilly or not. It's not like a So whatever. So I did it my own way, and the director came up to me afterwards and was like, "That was perfect." And I was like, "Really?" Because it wasn't hillbilly-ish. I was like, it wasn't hillbilly-ish at all, man. And he was like, "No, it's great. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's great. It's great." So sometimes even the director, and I don't want to say this, and directors be watching this and be like, "Oh, screw him, screw him. We don't want to work with him." No, you should always listen to the director, definitely. But a great director should always open their ear to what their actors have in mind too, because you might have this character written on the script, and let's say the actor's incompetent and has this idea and is like, and I have this idea where I could be like, I could pierce my bridge of my nose right here, and I could pierce my eyebrows and that all that, and like you might be like, nah, the character doesn't need that, but you at least listen to him. You at least like humored him, because we do come to set sometimes with like these ideas that we think might make the character more fun for the audience.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't regret doing it. If I went back in time, I probably wouldn't. I was having a really bad day that day. So, like when he said you got a really good hillbilly esque quality to you, I was like, oh fucking hillbilly, I'll show you hillbilly. But now, if I wasn't if I was having a good day, if he said you got a hillbilly quality to you, I might be like, all right, well let's hillbilly it up. I don't know.
All right.
I still haven't played a hillbilly character in a film. I just didn't feel like that character was that. So honestly, that, like I said, it's a loaded question too, because honestly, I feel like you could get into your character all you want. I could. I did this character for an audition I really wanted, and I got into the character. I felt the emotions. This character was talking about their grandparents passing away. My grandfather, passed away right before that. So I really, really got into character with it. I was, I couldn't even read some of the lines before I flew to California to do the audition, and it was for one of the leads of The Walking Dead: World Beyond. And here I am in the audition room with the casting director, and I got the tears. I poured the tears out. I did the intense acting. End of the scene. The guy gives me a tissue box. He already had ready because he knew people were gonna cry because it was written in the script. I wiped my eyes like, thank you. He goes, yeah, I really wish you wouldn't have cried. I was like, what? It's in the fucking script, man. Like I've had this script for 2 days. That's it, for 2 days,
And
and
it
then you
says
want
you
me to
cry in the
fly out.
script.
Yeah, it says I cried in the script. You had the script for 2 days. You fly me out to California to do a fucking audition. Like, to fly for an audition. I didn't say this, but my head was thinking all these thoughts. Like, fly out here for a fucking audition, man. I was like, and you're gonna get mad because I did what you asked me to do? I was like, no. He goes, do you mind doing it again? Now, usually, whatever, and this is not always, but usually, if you don't do a great audition and the casting director goes, do you mind doing it again? You want another take? Let's do it again. You don't hear back. Because it's like they don't have time, and if you didn't get it right the first time, they think of it like, oh, casting directors are more picky than directors. Casting directors are like, I'm not bringing you to this director and make myself look bad. The director might be like, oh, it's okay, take your time. The director might be cool with that. The casting director's not. The casting director's like, yep, nope, nope, next, better luck next time. So he told me, he said, I wish you wouldn't have cried. I went, what? He's like, everybody's been crying all day. I really wish that they wouldn't cry, because in the scene you don't have to cry. So he wanted me to do it again and not crying. So I just had to wipe my eyes. My eyes looked like I've been crying. I just got through this intense energy. I'm still breathing heavy. I'm still a little shaken up and nervous. And then I have to go back. And then instead of being in the same energy, I have to kill the entire energy and do it deadpan, like I don't care. You want me to, so like give me a second to cool off and breathe and like get into that character that doesn't care. Because but it was like I knew I wasn't gonna get it. Like I left that audition, rode all the way to the airport, got in the airplane, flew the airplane, or drove in the airplane, whatever you call it, rode in the airplane all the way back to Arkansas, and was just like knowing the whole time in the airplane I didn't get it. Fucking knew the whole time. I was like, God, that was. And I thought the whole way going there in the airplane, I was like, oh, I got it. I got this. I'm going. I got this. I'm going to get this part. And the whole way back, I'm like, I don't got it.
That's crazy though, how it says in a script to cry, and then they tell you, I wish you didn't cry. Like, that's kind of.
And what are we supposed to do? We have no idea. We have no idea they don't want us to cry. We have no idea. So, in my opinion, it's almost better to just be like, in the audition, do it without the tears. Do it with the acting like you're crying, or do it like without getting there. because you don't know if they're gonna throw that in your face and be like, oh, no, 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 we don't want you to cry, and you gotta like not look like you've been crying. So it's like, okay, if you don't want me to cry and my eyes are red and puffy, then I look sick. So like, which one is it? Like, but I don't. I mean, I don't blame him. And it was cool to get to
It's a
audition
girl
for
thing.
him, you know. But I don't know. Now I'm sitting here thinking like he never called me in for another audition.
So, well, I guess that's the way it is, though. Just audition. No matter what, just keep on going. So.
Yeah, I mean that's what you have to do. Like you always hear about actors getting parts, right? They don't want to tell you about the parts they didn't get because it's like, yeah, I don't know. A lot of actors, it just seems like they want to be perfect. Like I got everything I ever auditioned for. No, you didn't. But like,
Yeah. No.
you know, it's not true. But I love seeing like the people that auditioned for Steve Carell's role on The Office. Seth Rogen would have been Dwight on The Office. You know, like had they picked him, he had a great audition. He just it's crazy like that too. Seth Rogen was a more well known actor at the time. He had a TV show on TV at the time. You know, but they still picked uh, what's his name? Rain Wilson. They still picked him because he just brought a certain quality to the character. So it's weird. Like I don't. I wonder sometimes who I'm up against. Like I was up for Eddie in Stranger Things, and Joseph Poliquin didn't get it, but Joseph Quinn got it, and I'm like, dude, our names are so damn close together. It's insane. So I
Maybe they
really do
mixed it
wonder,
up. Oh, we called the wrong one. Oh well, we'll just stick with it. We're not going to.
motherfucker. We called the one that could play guitar. No offense, but I heard he couldn't play guitar. He had to learn. Maybe he had to learn for it though. Like he learned in order to play the songs. Like, but you know what? I knew I didn't get the part whenever they called me back the third time for Stranger Things, and they wanted me to be the drummer in the band. And I was like, oh man. I was like, damn it. I had a feeling. I was like, oh man. But it's one of those things where, like you said, you just keep going because unfortunately, almost getting a part doesn't get you anywhere. Like you can't be like, I was the guy that almost got booked to play the role that everybody loved. You can't do that. You have to get the part. So not getting the part kills you, and then watching someone else with almost the same name as you go on to do great things because of that role kills you. And if you keep going, you're a psychopath. That's all there is to it. If you keep acting after you've been rejected that many times, then it's almost like you're telling the entire world, I'm crazy and I'm not gonna stop. So give me a job and let me feed my family, motherfuckers. And after
Exactly.
that, like that's pretty much all it is to it. Like, I mean, everybody deserves to work, but if you pick a job that pays handsomely, it's gonna be a lot harder to get that job. That's just how it is.
Yep. Let's say, well, we're coming up almost over 2 hours now. Last question I always ask everybody: is there any other hobbies or interests or talents or anything fans may not know about you that you could share?
They, I don't know. Some of the fans watching right now are in the chat, and they probably know most of the stuff about. So anything they wouldn't know, hmm, hmm, anything they
Stuff you
wouldn't
like to
know.
do in free time or whatever. Anything. It
I
could
mean,
be anything.
most of the stuff I like to do the most, I do it professionally because I just love doing it so much that if I don't get paid to do it, then I gotta feed my family. I gotta feed I gotta put a roof over my heads and my family. My wife does a lot of the feeding, but you know what I mean. Like, thank you. She said I'm an amazing cook. So like, but no, I have to make money with my art and my passions like that. But if I'm looking to give the fans something that they didn't know about me, something I don't do what? No, I'm okay, but that's also I take a lot of pictures, so you can probably tell that I'm a photographer. But something they don't know about me. Okay. And this actually coincides with Five Nights at Freddy's. I didn't even know this about myself. So you guys definitely didn't know this about me unless you're like that hardcore of a fan, which if you are, you blow my mind. But I'm a puppeteer. I'm a puppeteer at heart. I've made puppets as a kid. I love puppetry. I love working with puppets. I used to make stop animation with my Lego characters. I love puppetry so much that I did this puppet cover of the song from Ariana Grande. I don't remember the name of the song, but if you look up Ariana Grande puppet parody, it's the first one, if not the only one, that pops up. And I did that, and I did the whole song and acted it out with the puppet and everything. And I pride myself at, I'm not a good ventriloquist, but I'm good at making the mouth move with the words. Like I'm good at doing that. So I pride myself at that. But I never thought of myself as a puppeteer ever. All right, I just love doing it. And then years later, I do FNAF. I'm on set. They put the cupcake on my face, but this was a non-animatronic cupcake that you can just squeeze to your face, and it would just latch on, and then I can move it on my face. Well, at the end of the scene, I'm dead, completely dead, and I'm moving my jaw like this, and the cupcake's going gnawing on my face. And it was too brutal for a PG-13 movie. So they barely put it in. But if you watch that scene, whenever they show me first, like hitting the cupcake trying to get it off my head, they show my dad Hank, and he goes, Carl. And then when they go back to me again, and it scrolls up, it pans up to Chica, for a split second, if you put it on slow, or like go frame for frame, you can see me dead on the ground, dead, and the cupcake gnawing on my face. That was just me using my jaw to puppeteer it. Everyone on set was talking about it. Christian talked about it in the interview yesterday and reminded me about it. The director was talking about it, and she came up to me and asked me how I was doing that. But then the people at Jim Henson came up to me and asked me how long I'd been a puppeteer. And I went, I'm not a puppeteer. I was like, I'm not a puppeteer. And she goes, oh, okay. And she walked away. And I was like, wait a minute, I really am. I was like, I really am. I've been doing puppet stuff for a long time. I'm doing puppet work in many different things. But yeah, if you look up Ariana Grande puppet parody on YouTube, you'll find the mosquito puppet that I used to make that video.
All right, definitely have to check that out. That sounds fun. So, all right, but thank you very much. It's been fun. Definitely have you on again sometime if you'd like, and whatever. So.
Yeah, this was a great interview, man.
So
2 hours went by pretty fast.
And thanks to everyone in the chat that showed up. Steven, who's always here, my mom, Unspoken Nation, everybody, anyone who's watching the replay. So, all right, have a good night.
You too.
Bye.